Okay, remember that not all readings are intended to resonate with the collective, but today we have a very special reading, and it'll be the last reading of our day because anytime I do the guardian angel readings, it takes a lot of my energy. But we have the Ak rune to start off our reading in combination with the Empress. And I'm not sure if all of you know, but the Empress has a lot to do with abundance and nature and female sexuality and fertility and life, growth, nature, harvest, connection to the earth. This is a goddess. And then we have the Ak rune, which is associated with the oak tree. And the oak tree has a lot to do with male virility, male sexuality, male strength, and male protection. So to start this reading off with the Ak rune and the Empress, it's almost the equivalent of starting off with the Emperor and the Empress. The male and female qualities of our planet and our realm in full force within this reading. But to pay more closer attention to the Ak rune also closely associated with the oak tree in Celtic Ogham, has an intertwined type of explanation and meaning. Firstly, this is one of the greatest trees always looked at across the board, whether it be in China, Germanic territories, whether it be the Druids, the Native Americans, etc., and not all native tribes, but regardless of where you go, the Greeks, the Romans, etc., the Teutonic Knights, they saw the oak tree, and the Vikings saw the oak tree as being one of the strongest trees. It was recognized as a protector tree, and the Celts associated it with their god Dagda. Many people associated it with Thor and other thunder gods. This was a tree that could protect. It symbolized longevity, and when it was struck by lightning, it was considered that this tree had a close connection to the gods and to the divine, and therefore anybody who was closely associated with this oak tree would receive protection, messages from the divine, and they had their own divine powers. Anger Boda, the mother of Fenrir, Jurgenmundur, and Hela, Loki's children, was greatly associated with this oak or Ak rune, which is an Anglo-Saxon rune. And I'm giving you this background because it's important to understand that oak trees were seen as they attracted lightning. And when lightning struck, it would split them in half. And when they didn't split in half, it was perceived that they were extremely strong. Their bark was good luck, and it revealed, or wisdom was revealed as it combusted into flames. The oak tree or the oak tree was used in ritualistic type groves. In fact, the Romans had cut down all the druid groves in the UK because they were seen as sources of energy and power and representations of a belief system that the Romans wished to obliterate and replace with their own beliefs and that of Christianity. In addition to that, this tree being used as a connection to God or gods and goddesses and an access point for divine information and protection, it was seen as a doorway to the divine. In fact, Druid, I think, translates to oak knower, oak seer. And as a result, this tree was seen as a direct link to the other world, our existence, and magic, to be quite honest. This was a magnificent tree, and you will see ancient groves throughout the world created just of oak trees. So when you come to the story of Angerboda, the mother of Fenrir, Hela, and Jorgenmunder. Her creatures, specifically Fenrir and Jorgenmunder, or Jorgenmund, were prophesized to be the initiators of Ragnarok, which meant the end of the world. And in doing so, they would end the rule of the Visir, the gods, the Visirian gods, such as Odin and Thor, and they would bring in an entirely new creation or open up the doorway for a new realm to exist or be created. Angerboda carried a very heavy weight because her children were persecuted and they were cast aside and they were cast asunder, and nobody wished to accept them. And if anything, everyone wished to destroy them in order to prevent fate. So this Ak tree, in association with Angerboda, also resembles or is associated with transformation out of chaos, the strike of lightning that implodes the pre-existing order, the strike from the heavens and the gods, the divine intervention in the structure of things in order to bring about change and bring energy to the earthly realm that otherwise could not be harnessed through regular means. The lightning is an awakening call. It is an opening. It is a door. It is communion with the gods above. It is a force of nature. And if you get this rune, it is telling you that you must withstand the enemies who come against you. And you will. In addition to that, you can harness the power of lightning and utilize it, transform that energy to something else. You are a receiver of divine forces and divine energy and divine change. So when lightning strikes and it changes the world around you, you will survive, as you are just a part of the process of explosive and chaotic change, as that energy is to create it. You are a part of that energy. And with the Empress talking to us about nature and abundance and connection to Mother Earth, you know that there is something very big happening, and you have the natural forces of nature at your disposal, which also is reinstated with the Strength card. So when you see the Empress in the Strength card, you see a nurturing, mothering tendency here to harness the wild nature of the world around oneself. But this is followed by the Eight of Swords. This shows being trapped. This shows being constrained. And I don't always attribute your mental issues or your anxiety or your mental constructs imposed upon yourself, creating your own personal prison, as a reflection of this card all the time. Sometimes it can quite literally mean that somebody has been constrained, and they have been constrained by the forces of nature around them. So somebody in your midst has been taming the wild beast within you, and you've been feeling rather constrained. Another interpretation of this spread could be that you have been taming your own impulses and instincts because you have been waiting for a moment in which lightning shall strike. And with the Tower card here, lightning is coming and it will strike. And the question is this your power of lightning that you are casting upon this situation to release yourself? Or is it the gods and divine intervention coming in to thrust lightning into the situation, to explode the situation and reveal the wisdom necessary for you to release yourself from purgatory? Or is this the lightning cast upon you by others? Regardless, with the male energy here, you will be protected, and the world is saying that events will come to a successful completion. You will get what you want and desire.